In this video, I will provide you with two different examples. One will be how to build a 2-car garage with roof trusses, and the other will be how to build a 6-car garage with conventional framing. That would be 3 2-car garage doors, 60-foot long, 20-foot wide, gable roof. And I'm just going to kind of go through here at a faster rate than normal because I already did one of these, or a few of these, for building how to build a 2-car garage, and it's basically the same information. So I'm going to put a link to the website that you can go check out, and if you're looking at for a little more information on how to fasten everything together. In this video here, we'll just kind of take you through what it looks like. You can get an idea of what might be for this type of garage. The outlookers, fascia board, the ridge, gable end with the framing, view underneath the rafters, fascia board break, the blocks, shaped blocks, so you can nail the roof sheathing into it. A lap here. This is actually a brace that is going to help connect the two outside walls together. And you can put more in. I can just kind of space these out 1/3 of the way here. The ridge will need to be notched according to the fascia board that you are going to be using. I have 2x8 rafters. If you're going to use 2x10 rafters, you might not need notch the ridge. Gable studs, 16 inches on center, a brace here, sway brace to kind of help the ridge, prevent it from moving until you get the roof sheathing on. And that also helps to prevent the wall from moving out a little bit. Also, the shape blocks again, remove that. Ceiling joist might need to be notched at the end, depending on what type of ceiling joist you're using. Now, even though I can provide you with the spacing, the rafter sizes, stuff like that, I'm not really providing you with any structural engineering here. You're just kind of an example. This is how I've seen plenty of garages built before, and some of them I built myself like this. So a 4x14 header. The reason why I'm doing that is because the weight of the roof, the rafters are going to be sitting on the side of the door opening. In one of my other garage, 2-car garage videos, I have the rafters sitting on the outside walls and not over the garage door header, and I think I have a 4x12 in there. So, and this might need to be a larger header for you. Might need to be a 6x12 or a 6x14. Let's go ahead and remove the ceiling joist, and you can see here that I have the framing plates lapping over the garage door header, and this provides a nice solid connection all the way through here because these are going to be broken. So it's not like you're going to have 2 plates in the back. The beam is going to occupy this space. If you put the 2 framing plates on, then the garage door, when you finish everything, it might be a little low. So keep that in mind also. But you might be able to put 2 framing plates on over this area depending upon the size of the garage door, of course. Take a look at the corner, lapping the plates, anchor bolts on the bottom, the other side here. Just going to kind of whip through this framing, 16 inches on center, 2x4s, corner, inside corner. Again, the anchor bolts, your curb for the foundation. That's common on a garage. It's going to have a sloping concrete floor, about 1/8 of an inch per foot seems to be a nice slope. Inside another corner, same as the others. Double trimmers underneath the header. You might even need a 4x4 post. And even though I'm not showing it in this video, I am going to do another video with more structural engineering. This part right here, if you're looking for a little more structural support and you build something like this, you could always put some plywood on the inside of the shorter walls that go across the front. That's going to give you a little more stability, but you can always put some hold downs here. And again, I'm going to put that in a future video, and we'll put a link to that video at the end of this video when it is done. Another center section, outside, foundation, anchor bolts, 12 inches from each break, if you remember. And this is a 2-pour. You pour this one here first and then the slab. Slab is poured after. Spacing on anchor bolts is usually 6 foot on center, maximum. Now let's go ahead and put the thing together. And I'm just going to kind of go over a process that I would use, kind of the order of assembly. Frame the walls. I don't have the braces in here, but you're going to need to install some type of a bracing system. Shore up all the walls and get them perfectly plumb and straight. So that's going to be the second part. After you frame the walls, brace everything up and make sure it's nice and straight. Then put the ceiling joist on. Then the strong backs. You know, these can also toenail into the ceiling joist and help. They can you can always put a 2x6 in here too, or 2x8 if you're looking for something to strengthen up the ceiling if you're going to end up drywalling it in the future. Rafters, after that, rafters and blocks, then the braces, and then the collar ties here. Then the gable studs, again 16 inches on center. If you're going to put a gable vent in here and you're going to center it in here, this might have to move over and to accommodate that. Keep that in mind. You can always put the gable vent on each side or use dormer vents that would go on top of the roof, or even put two gable vents, one on each side, if you want to have the stud underneath here to help shore up the ridge, looking for a little more support. Fascia board with the outlookers, roof sheathing, and you are done. Now this video right here does not really include any structural engineering. Like I said, you live in an area where it snows, then you might need to beef this stuff up. You might need 2x12 rafters. A lot of times it's not uncommon to have people install 3/8 of an inch plywood or 1/2 inch struck one plywood, structural plywood, around the entire garage. And it's also not uncommon to have hold downs with shear panel, structural shear walls in all 4 of these sections here to prevent the building from moving this way. So that's it for the video. Like I said, I am going to do another video in the future. When it is done, I will put a link here to a 6-car garage with all the structural engineering you could possibly imagine in it. And again, keep in mind, I'm not a structural engineer, and that will also apply to the next section in this video when building a 2-car garage with roof trusses. And there is the truss right there. The truss is an individual engineered unit with basically has a ceiling joist or a rafter tie with rafters basically built in it, and it will sit on 2 bearing points, and that will be the exterior walls, and it will have blocks in them on the bottom and on the top. And I used a little larger block, used a 2x6 on the top. You can use a 2x4, but throughout this video series on garage roof framing, I want to provide you with different ideas and different, like for example, the first one that I did on a regular gable roof had a plumb cut. This one here has a square cut for the fascia board on this side. And of course it's using 2x6 blocks. Fascia board has a 12-inch overhang from the face of the gable end and a 24-inch overhang, and this would be a horizontal line or a level line coming off the face of the framing to the end of the fascia board at the top. Gable truss is usually going to have some studs in it. You can see where it's a different type of truss than the regular truss, and this will be used for the walls. And I guess you can always order your trusses without a gable truss and make your own, because basically this is something that could be built on your own on the job site, where the trusses here you might have a harder time doing. The blocks, again, 2x6 because you have room here. If I didn't have room, if this was a different design, let's say for example the webbing was back a little farther, then I would have to use a 2x4 for sure. And the 2x6 blocks, you know, like again, I said they might not be necessary. I just kind of threw them in there. The truss manufacturer should provide you with all the information and really all the blocks that you need for your truss roof framing. This is a sway brace and can be less than a 45-degree angle. I wouldn't have it more than a 45-degree angle. Wouldn't have it like a 60-degree angle, but it could be a 30-degree angle and going to the next truss. But wanted to point out that this needs to be cut a little bit lower so that it's not sticking up. We can see here where this one here is sticking up above the framing because I cut it even with the top here, or drew it in that way, but you can see that these braces will need to come down a little bit. And same thing with the blocks. If you look at the block right here, the block is down. It's not at the top here. It's not at the peak. It's at the peak where the blocks would meet the plane of the roof, where the plane of the roof would come in. Plywood, you don't want to be having the plywood sticking up there. You are going to need this would be, what would this be? A brace again. And I usually just put a 1x4 down with 1/16 D nail in it. You can use a 2x4 16s. You can always use this with 8 D nails too. And these braces here actually just keep the trusses evenly spaced. And you can always put 2 of them in. Instead of running one right down the center, you could have them in the thirds. You could have one over here and one over here somewhere. And thanks for watching. If you enjoyed the video, let us know by hitting the thumbs up button or letting us know in the comment area.